Hi, welcome to Sheepish, episode 20. Today is Saturday, August 10th, 2013. My name is Holly and I'm your host. So it's been a little while. It's been over a week since I last talked to you guys, but a lot closer than normally. So let's start. Anyway, it's been busy. There's been some progress on the knitting front, not a lot of progress on the spinning front. Um, and I have no show notes this week. I'm going to have to make those up as I go along. This is going to be interesting. So let's go ahead and let's get started with what's on the current roster. Currently, we have got, let's see, well, the socks, the Bondi socks. I've not yet cast on the second sock because after debating on whether I wanted these to be a complete surprise or not, I decided that I'd rather see if they actually fit or the one that I finished actually fits. The Bondi socks are going to be for my mom. And I surprised her this morning and actually had her try on the first sock. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I hadn't yet Kitchenered the toe because I really did. I was wondering if I wanted to have her try it on or not. So I did, and it's just a skosh short. So I'm now debating on whether I want to rip the toe back completely and add a couple of rows, or if I just want to add like another decrease round in there and call it a day. It's probably going to be another decrease round and call it a day. Just saying. So yeah, I didn't bother to bring those down to work on or to show because I haven't worked on them at all. I have something new on the needles, and this was inspired. I was inspired to cast this on after watching Diane from Knittables. I was watching her last couple of podcasts, and she was talking about having a knit along with Sadie, Yarnivore, Blue Ruin, Blue Ruin on Ravelry, I believe. So I've decided to cast on a Brickless, and I am actually doing this. Let's see if we can actually get some color going on in there. Color's a little washed out, and that's just because it's daytime instead of nighttime. I'm doing this in a much lighter yarn than the pattern calls for. I'm doing it in a fingering weight yarn because I know that I will be able to wrap this up around my neck and I will still be able to get the warmth, but I don't want anything that's going to be too suffocating. So yeah, I'm using a fingering weight yarn, and it is from Storied Yarns. So storiedyarns.com. If you guys remember, this is the dyer that I got the 10 and 11 colorways that were dyed for the 10th and 11th Doctors. It is her fingering weight sock, or so her superwash sock, sorry, in 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon. It's 463 yards, and the name, I'm going to straighten that out, Condescending Wonka. I don't know. You guys have probably seen the meme going around with Condescending Wonka, with Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. And he's just sitting there, and it's always something like, oh, so tell me about blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I saw that. I love that meme. I saw that, and I saw the colorways, and I really wish this wasn't so washed out. That's a little better because it really does represent everything that's in that picture. I have done one full repeat of the lace, garter, and rib. I've done a second repeat of the lace, and I'm going to work on the garter and rib later. Yeah, so that is Brickless by Martina Bem. You can always, if you want to join in on the knit along, go onto the Knittables thread or the Knittables group on Ravelry, or I believe the Yarnivore group, because she is doing it with Sadie. And just sign up there. I haven't actually posted this because I basically decided this last night. So basically before I got to bed, I had one full repeat done of all three. I know, little nuts. But yeah, so that's that. I am doing it on my, whoops, US 6, whoops, 4 millimeter. Yep, my US 6 4 millimeter stiletto signature circulars, and they're 32 inches long. They're a little long and unwieldy right now, but as this grows, and this will grow, it'll be fine. So that's that. That's pretty much all that's on the current roster. Wait, what's that? You remember another pair of socks that was on the current roster last week? Well, they're not on the current roster anymore because they've joined the alumni roster. Yay! Yeah, I know. I had to draw that one out. Boom. A pair of bow ties or cool socks. Yay! So last week when I left you, this is the second sock. I had up to this little stitch marker done. I powered through, I concentrated, I really did become project monogamous, and I powered through the rest of the sock. I actually finished the decreases of the sock last night before I cast on for that, and did the Kitchener today because I didn't have darning needles with me upstairs because I was doing this in bed while watching podcasts. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen the picture of me holding up the sock toe while I was watching Fiberista Files. But yeah, so I have a new pair of socks. Yay! These are, I cannot remember the name of the yarn company. I want to say it's Enchanted something, the Enchanted Thread. Uncommon Thread. The Uncommon Thread. I think that's it. Wow. I do remember that the color is called Debauchery. These were a light fingering. And I didn't really notice that a whole heck of a lot until I started knitting this because I'd knit these on size 1.5 needles, so 2.5 millimeter. And the fabric's a little loose. Now, it was bugging me a little bit as I was knitting on the first sock. And I think in addition to it just kind of becoming a little boring, because it is a very repetitive pattern. I can't talk. You know, I stopped on that first sock. I stopped after I turned the heel, and I just let it sit there for the longest time. So when I picked it up and I actually finished the first sock, because I just basically said, just screw it, I'm just going to go ahead, power through. After I knit the first sock and I tried on the sock as a whole, I liked the way that the fabric stretched. I did like what I was getting. I don't necessarily like the feel of it in my hand right now. These are not washed. They will be eventually. But I like how they feel on my feet. So it's kind of like there's a toss-up. It's all good. I'm excited to wear these because it needs to get colder again so I can wear socks. Or at least my hand knit socks. I don't want any other socks. But yeah. So yay! Finished objects for the win. I did manage to find the bag or the my Piddle Loot bag that had the squares in it. And I hadn't finished the other square. I haven't touched the square, so when I finish that, it'll definitely come out to play. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for the rustling back there. I'm just placing the socks and hoping they don't fall. And that might not last, but we're going to see. Sorry. Stay. So that brings us to the scouting report. Now, I'm not really going to go into the a review because I've thought about doing this one separately. Sorry, I'm going to be a little oddly in and out of frame because my LYS Fiberspace in Alexandria got in the unofficial Harry Potter knits. I've actually had this for a while because I got it the first night it was available, or basically as soon as they posted that they got them in. Yeah. There's a lot in here that I like. There's a lot in here that I'm like meh on. I'm thinking that I'm going to just do a review on the blog. I think that's probably the best way to go over that because I know that a lot of people, excuse me as I get that out of the way, a lot of people have reviewed it already. There's some really good reviews out there about it. But yeah, I think that I want to do that in a separate post. So it won't be video, it'll just be on the blog, I think. So yeah, so scouting report as in stash enhancement, there's been a little. And it's going to stop soon-ish for reasons that I'll go into the what's making me happy section. But yeah, so yeah. I may have gone. I only did a little dive off the deep end just because pretty. I got drawn in to a RAV ad for the first draft. And that's etsy.com/shop/the first draft. See if I can get that straight and if I can get it to focus. There we go. And Lindy had some really pretty fiber up there. Yeah, I kind of fell down, went boom. Sorry for the crinkling. But the first braid that I got is 100% Polworth, and it's 4 ounces, and the colorway is Gloaming. And I'm trying to see if I can, I'm not taking it out of the bag, because you can pretty much see, I mean, it's purples. You've got deep purples going into like reddish purples going into this really pretty pale lilac, and then up here, you've got lilac and pinky purple. Oh, it's pretty. And there's only one of those available in the shop. Then I saw this. No pictures did this justice. And there were 2 braids of this. This is 4 ounces, so I've got 8 total ounces of a superwash merino. And let's see if I can get that. Oh, this is just not doing it justice. Oh my goodness. It is so gorgeous. It's a dark colorway. Yeah, that light on the other side is really just kind of washing everything out. But the color's called the Witching Hour, and you've got this bright, up here you've got a bright tealy blue, and then you've got just shots of like brighter blues going throughout. It's got a predominantly dark, almost black, some of it is black base, and then you've got this bluish black. It's not a navy because the blue is brighter, going into this dark bluish purple, and then like a black and purple, and then that just this solid warm purple, which is showing up really grayed out. That's a little better. Oh my goodness. On my receipt, on my packing list, Lindy wrote me a quick note saying that she, hoped that it was all going, that I would enjoy the fiber, and she said that this was one of her personal favorite colors. I can see why. I have to spin this. Now, this is a superwash merino, and I have not had a lot of luck with merino before. But yeah, I'm totally going to be working on that soon. I guess I'm just going to spin all 4 ounces like onto 2, or each 4-ounce braid onto 2 bobbins and then 2-ply it. I don't know. We're going to see how that works. But it's so pretty. So pretty. Yeah, that's not it though. Then I went to Storied Yarns, and you guys know that I love Storied Yarns, that I loved the 10 and 11 colorways. I'm going to hold this up again. Different tag, but still Storied Yarns at Etsy.com. Every stitch tells a story. And she had a couple of colorways that I'd been looking at for a little while up for sale. So this first colorway was inspired by the West Wing, and I love that she puts that on her tags. If it's a colorway that's been inspired by something that you can't tell immediately, she puts it on the tags. So Keg of Glory, West Wing. These are not colors that I normally gravitate towards because of all the yellows, but I love it. It works so well. These will definitely be socks. I mean, maybe I'll think of a shawl that I want to do with these, but I think these will be fun socks. So 463 yards of fingering weight superwash socks, so merino nylon. And then you guys already saw the condescending Wonka, although, yeah. You'll notice that it's hand wound. Why? Because I didn't want to drag the ball winder and Swift out at 11:30 at night. And I decided to spend the next hour and a half hand winding. Yeah, there were a couple of tangles that I had to deal with and a cat who wanted to be involved in the entire process. Yeah, George was being a helper. But yeah, so Keg of Glory, condescending Wonka. Happiness. Yeah, that's still not all. And then, and I think I got that off of somebody's blog or somebody on a group on Rab that where they were like, oh, you know, post updates, blah, blah. So I think Storied Yarns posted there. And I went over and went, I need to have these. The next one, I'm trying to remember. I thought there was something else, but no, I think it's just these. The Cyborgs Craft Room. Now, Leslie on the Knit Girls has talked about them, and I forget what other podcast I was watching, but they were talking about them. So I went over. I looked them up. They're on Etsy. I know that. Cyborgs Craft Room. This is the Asacolate base. Let's see if it'll actually. There we go. 75% merino wool, 25 nylon, 463 yards again. And the colorway for this is Fry. It's a Futurama colorway. So if you are familiar with Futurama, you should, yeah. I saw this and I was just like, dude, I have to have that. And then I saw this, which is her bested base, which is superwash merino. It's a worsted weight, 218 yards. Oh, come on, you have to focus on that. Because the name is awesome. Unicorn Rainbow Fight! This is awesome. I really love how bright this is and how it's almost garish, but not. It's awesome. This will probably be a hat or like a cowl or something. And I need to get busy and I need to get my warm weather or my warm knitting mojo back, especially my sweater mojo. Yeah. So that brings us to, I guess that this is a quick episode. That's bringing us to what's making me happy this week. What's making me happy? Well, first off, I don't know if you guys are watching Heather on Fiberista Files, who's also the owner of Highland Handmaids, and or Katie from Knitting on the Fly. I don't know if you're watching them. If you're not, you should. You should just go subscribe to them because they're awesome. But they are holding a retreat in Maine, up in the Highlands of Maine, outside. I believe that the place is going to be outside Baxter State Park. Is that right? Anyway, in October. It'll be the weekend after Rhinebeck, and spots opened up on the 1st, and thanks to my friend Michelle, because we were both like, we need to go, we need to go, we need to get in. Yay! We're both going. We're both going up. We're very excited. I have not been to Maine since 2000, since the spring, early summer of 2000. I lived up there for a couple of months when I was training with LL Bean because they were bringing LL Bean to the first location outside of Maine, outside of Freeport. And so I was part of the crew that went up there to train and brought it down. So I got to know Southern Maine pretty well because I was in retail, but I didn't have to work weekends when I was in training. Awesome. So I would explore, and I explored a lot of Southern Maine. I explored New England. I drove to Vermont one Saturday to visit the Ben and Jerry's factory, warehouse, whatever, because I could. Yeah, that was also the day that I got that speeding ticket in Maine outside Kennebunk, where eventually the state of Maine eventually asked me to not speed in their state again, or I would not be allowed to drive in their state again. I'm going to say not completely my fault because I was on Route 1 and there was I was going from highway speed down to 35 and there was no sign telling me reduce speed ahead. Yeah, I was going into a town, you would think, but yeah. There was no sign. And while I could have gone back up to Maine and fought that, I was also towards the end of my time in Maine and I was just like, screw it, I'm just going to go home. I'll give them a lot of money and we're done. But yeah, all that to say, I'm going up to Maine in October. I'm so excited. So I need to get my sweater mojo back. If any of you guys have seen my sweater mojo hanging around somewhere, send it back my way. I kind of need it because October in Maine, while not the coldest month, is still chilly. So knitting all sorts of socks. You're going to see socks on the needles for days. Yeah, you're going to see socks all over the place, but I need to knit sweaters. I need to knit accessories. I need to be warm. So that's one thing that's making me happy this week. My second thing is I am actually meeting up with some friends that I haven't seen in a while tonight. So we're going to go hang out, have a few beers, catch up. I'm looking forward to that. I need to change soon. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to having a fun night. Yeah. So what's also making me happy is we have a prize drawing to do. Yay! For the July finished socks thread, which means I'm going to look over at my computer for a second while I pull up Ravelry and I pull up that thread. There it is. Okay. So we had a total of 25 entries into the contest for a skein of sock yarn. And let me find where I put the random number generator. Okay. Here it is. So I have an app. It's one of those you would think that I would know where I put it, but no. Okay, so we had 25 posts in the thread. And I know that there was at least one chatter. And if I land on that, I land on that and I'll just redraw. My post was number 1. So let me pull this back up again. So you can see my phone. I don't know if you can actually, oh, you can't see the numbers. Okay, trust me, it says 2 to 25. And so number 12, post number 12, which is, scroll up, Variegated Life. She posted, funny, I chose the same color, here are mine. And so she did hers out of another crafty girl in the color blueberry, and they are the seated rib socks patterned by Lisa Beamer. So congratulations, Variegated Life. I am so happy. And just if you see this before I get a chance to PM you, because I'm going to give you a couple of days because I want you to be surprised, PM me, let me know what your favorite colors are, because I will choose sock yarn specifically for you. I figure I've got tons of it, and I have very good sock yarn, and I'm not knitting all of my sock yarn, and I want to pass it along. And so, variegated life, I hope to hear from you soon, and just, let me know what your colors are, and I will find something. So congratulations. Yay! I love doing drawings. Oh, I know what I forgot. Spinning. I haven't done a lot of spinning. But I did pull out a braid of Fiber Nymph Dye Works in the Circle of Friends colorway, which was the Unclub color for last September, I think. I don't want to pull this off of, or actually take the bobbin off. So I'm going to try and lift the wheel up. I'm going to pull a Karen and try and lift the wheel up. I doubt that this is going to work, but we're going to see. I knew I had more yarn. Okay. Give me just a second. Sorry for going out of frame. Okay, really? Okay. How do people do this all the time? Whoops. There we go. So this is, I believe, a BFL, and it's the Circle of, or the, no, it's Venice, Colors of Venice. And you can see I'm getting pretty regular. I am spinning this, I'd say at like a light fingering. Some parts, I mean, the majority of it's probably, well, the majority of it's a lace. Some of it goes up to like a light fingering. I'm really not going over that, but I'm going back and forth between the two. So, I mean, but my singles are getting more and more consistent, so that makes me happy. Let's see, what else? Well, bending out of frame again. I knew I had something else. So, Sadie, Blue Ruin, had an update in her shop, Knitter's Nightmare. I was stalking this update because she had things that I wanted, and they were all fiber related. So this color is called Venice. I forget what the fiber content on these are because, yeah, I was buying for colors, not really content. This is Iceland. Yeah, I need to get some spinning done. And this is Berlin. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm in love with all the colorways, but I'm like, oh, this one's just so pretty and vibrant, and yeah, we'll have to go on the needles or go on the wheel. Wow. So yes. Okay, now I can say I have shared everything. Yeah, all of that's making me so very happy. Also, I was watching Emily Fancy Pants' podcast, the one that she did. Well, I watched all the ones that she did up to her vacation. But I think not this last one, but the next last one, she talked about paying for an app and the iSpin Toolkit app. And I immediately went out and I got the app because she gave it such a glowing review. But one of the things that I absolutely love about this is that not only can you figure out twist, and I'm still learning a lot, so I'm trying to figure all of that out. But I love the fact that you've got a wraps per inch gauge right here. And let's see if it'll actually, okay, it really does not want to focus for very long. But this has been really instrumental in helping me figure out how fine or how thick I've been spinning. I really like it. I am looking forward to spinning more and trying to experiment with weights and thicknesses so I can use it to its, to its the best of its ability. Whoops, you don't. um, but yeah, so that's also making me happy this week. So that's about it for me. If you'd like to reach me during the week, please do. You can send me an email at sheepishpodcast@gmail.com. I am reachable on Ravelry as Knit Girl, spelled conventionally. I can be reached on Plurk or on Twitter as Sheepish Podcast. My Twitter mostly is just reposting what I've plurked. I found that that's a way to kind of get that out there, but also I find that I use Plurk more for the podcast and I use Twitter more for personal, which I have lots of knitterly friends and I follow people on my account, on my other account. But yeah, let's see. So there's that. Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Let's see, Plurk, Ravelry. Oh, Instagram. I am knitgirl726. And yeah, I'd like feedback on this. I've been thinking about starting a Facebook page for the podcast. I don't know. I mean, I've got friends who've got pages that follow their blog. I've got obviously friends who have pages for whatever business they're doing. I know of a lot of people who have podcast pages up there. What do you think? Let me know. I'd like to hear. And yeah, so have a great time, week, however long it'll be between this and the next podcast. But yeah, have a great week, and I will see you soon.